You're live. Okay, welcome to the class. This is the class on biblical laws, Halachah. And my husband's coming in now. And I'm going to see if I'm going to come in after him because I'm so tired from packing and unpacking and shopping and all the things that have to be done, even extra than what we had because we're moving to Baltimore. Oh, yeah, yeah. Anyway, enjoy the class. We'll see if I can come in. Let me get rid of this piece of garbage here. Okay. Here you go, husband. Maybe give a little review of last week's class or whatever before. Here, look. You're there. You can't have people watching you.
Yeah, I'm trying to
doing that.
Quiet them.
Just take it off the speaker. That way you'll hear if somebody comes in as well.
Good evening, everyone, and this is our Halachah class. We have a wonderful holiday that is coming up on Sunday night, God willing, the holiday of Hanukkah. And I have stressed with all of those that I can that we should be as excited and looking forward to our holy holiday with great enthusiasm and excitement. And we see the tremendous excitement that we live in a country which is a majority of non-Jewish people. And to them, the holiday that they have this season, they go way out. It's largely a commercial way out. And it's very much materialistic. But those who are sincere, think about the religious significance of their holiday, which is the opposite of our holiday. Their holiday celebrates proclaiming a human being as a false god and bowing to that individual and praying to that individual. And this is how they're taught, and we understand the background behind it. Our holiday, yeah, okay, I'm going to put the speaker on again. Yeah. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just want to get, I hope you can hear me.
That thing came on the screen. It's no big deal. The only one who sees it is you.
Right, okay. So we are very excited about the holiday in which we celebrate that we were able to reclaim the land of Israel, to reclaim our holy temple, and to be able to worship the Almighty with the one and only Torah, the true Torah, and that we are free to do so, thank God, in this country. It's nothing to be taken for granted, and I want to share some things with you. It's going to be a fairly short class, but I'd like to go into some of the laws of Hanukkah as I can, of how to observe it properly. First of all, let's bear in mind that Sunday night, one should light at least one candle. That would be the first night of Hanukkah, in commemoration of the fact that we are Jewish people and that we have only one God, and that we celebrate the fact that we are able to worship the Almighty in a country which is basically free. There are many problems here, there are many criticisms here, and terrible things that are going on. But we thank God that we are in a place that we can serve and worship the one and only God and celebrate the fact that He rescued us again. He rescued us again. We need a tremendous rescue right now in the land of Israel. Awful things are still happening there, and awful ideas, people even meaning well to have peace. There's no peace there. There's no peace. There's hatred. There are attacks upon us. We are losing our holy, wonderful soldiers. They're holy because they give up their lives for the sake of their people and the land of Israel. And all kinds of crazy ideas. Treaty was supposed to have various points. It's not being kept. And yet they're looking for all kinds of loose ways to get around what was agreed to. even in writing. One of these things with the Hamas was to be disarmed and completely taken out of control. So they're looking for all kinds of ways, put their guns in storage, all kinds of crazy, ridiculous, stupid ideas when you know that they refuse to disarm, they refuse to stop their hatred of the Jewish people, and they refuse to stop planning another October 7th, which is what they want to be able to do. Where is there any kind of peace? Where do you have any kind of ceasing of violence and ceasing of the war that began? We're only fooling ourselves. So we're in need of another Hanukkah miracle right now. We need it right now, in which the Almighty will help us to remove these terrible enemies as we did in the Hanukkah story. It wasn't an easy story, and it took years like this. This war is 2 years. It took many years. The Hanukkah story is not a quick 1, 2, 3 thing. The Purim story, actually, when the Jewish people were endangered, was with about a year. And then we were given permission to defend ourselves. Did we say, well, we should have a little peace treaty then? We'll make peace with all these horrible enemies who have planned to destroy us completely. That's what Haman's idea was. Haman Khamenei, right? The horrible leader, anti-religious leader, I should call it, horrible leader, religious leader of Iran and many Muslims, etc., etc. He's the Haman of today. Should should we be lax in any way? All the Jewish people stood up on the 13th day of Adar. I know we're talking about Hanukkah, but we have to learn to ask for Hanukkah right now. Again, we need Hanukkah to be repeated again now, because as we go back to the Purim story, on the 13th of Adar, all the nations had permission to eradicate us. We had permission to defend ourselves, but they still had permission to eradicate us. And the Almighty said to it that they fell into our hands. We need that right now, too, with the Hanukkah story as well. We have the terrible Hamas, terrible Iran, terrible Hezbollah, terrible Houthis, and enemies all over the world who are once again criticizing us for defending ourselves and looking for any way to cause that we should be blamed for all of the violence and all the terrible things that have happened. So again, let's celebrate Hanukkah Sunday night, not only just a celebration, but with a great prayer for the Almighty to once again redeem us again as he did centuries ago. To add to this, just today I heard that 51%, that's more than half, 51% of the youth in the United States of America blame Israel and support Hamas. How could that happen? How would such atrocities, which were put on video, how could anyone support such a wretched, wicked group? How could it? Yet that's going on now. Again, we had the problem in the Hanukkah story too, where our own people were joining the Syrian Greeks and fighting against the Hasmoneans, fighting against the Jewish people who were trying to rescue the Jewish people from the oppression, rescue the Holy Temple from being a place of idol worship and filthy, where a pig was offered on the altar just to disgrace us completely. Did you know that the worst thing that a Muslim can go through, can have, is if they're going to be buried in a pigskin? Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? At any rate, you and I have a big job to do, to tell the truth and to tell our youth, whether they be Jewish or not. Unfortunately, there are Jewish youth that are involved too. Just like in the Hanukkah story, there were Jewish people who were won over by the terrible enemies and fighting against their own Jewish brothers and sisters to stop them from worshiping the one God. Can you imagine such a thing? Incredible. So it's our job to celebrate this holiday and to publicize it as much as we can, and to speak to our fellow, not only fellow Jews, but fellow Americans, to make it absolutely clear to them that Israel did not start this wretched war. They were attacked in the most brutal and inhumane, disgraceful way. And we're just supposed to sit by and let them do it again? Of course not. So we must do our part in spreading the truth, telling the truth. Okay, we observe this by lighting the first Hanukkah candle on Sunday night. If you're going to light at sunset, which would be best, the candle has to last for about 50 minutes. That's a period of time when people would still be in the streets, and a time when people would see the lights coming home from work, rush hour time, something like rush hour time now. Right now, sunset, where we are here, I think most places are similar to, is around 3 minutes past 4, close to 4 o'clock. We would be lighting the first Hanukkah candle on Sunday night. We would sing 3 blessings. Blessed art thou, O Lord our God, King of the universe, who made us holy with commandments, made us holy with his commandments, and commanded us to light the candle for Hanukkah. The candle represents the fact that is abused as the Jewish people were, and is tortured, and as they were eradicated by the horrible Syrian Greeks, the Almighty saw to it that he'll show a sign that he's still with us and that he's rescuing us. That's the idea of lighting the candles on Hanukkah. After we gained control of the temple, it wasn't a 1, 2, 3 thing, and it wasn't a 1-year thing either. It was a period of years of wars with terrible, terrible enemies, etc. Instead of tanks, you probably are reading and you see the tanks on the YouTube, hopefully the ones that are defending the Jewish people, and they shoot these missiles that completely can destroy the tank or a building immediately. Tremendously powerful weapons there are today, unfortunately, in the wrong hands. We are defending ourselves. What did they use for tanks years ago? Elephants. Do you find that interesting? Elephants. That's these huge, enormous animals that can be used to trample the enemy, etc., etc. So on Sunday night, if we're lighting at sunset, make sure that your candles are big enough to last for 50 minutes. Otherwise, wait till about the half hour after sunset. Light your Hanukkah candles, and as we'll be learning about where to place them, we light the first candle on Sunday night. The second night, we'll light 2 candles, increasing. It's a beautiful lesson there in Judaism. Malin Bakodesh. When it comes to holiness, we go higher and higher and higher. First night 1, second night 2 candles, next night 3 candles, increasing the light and increasing the holiness. And we are commemorating the fact, not just that we won the war. In fact, the name Hanukkah in Hebrew means they rested on the 20th day of the month of Kislev. That's the month that we're in now. And Sunday night would be the 25th of Kislev. Another expression for Hanukkah, one of the celebrations of it, is also the fact that when the Hasmoneans got control over the temple, they rededicated. They had to clean it up and get out of the filth from the Syrian Greeks, from their idol worship, and how they defiled it and disgraced it as best as they could possibly do. And the Hasmoneans were rededicating. This is, by the way, the second holy temple in those days. The first temple was in the days of Solomon, and the second temple, halfway through, about 200 years into the existence of the second temple, that was when the Hanukkah story took place. There's something else that happened at this time too. Yes, thank you for joining us too.
Thank you. When did you say we rested?
From the war. Thank you for asking that question. Yes, that we were victorious from the war. It's really a series of wars, not just one war. It was a series of wars. We can only appreciate, just like what's going on right now. We have been beating we have been beating these horrible Hamas, Hezbollah, and the others, Houthis, etc. They took out their leadership, etc. Iran was very severely bashed as well. We know, and the United States has helped us all the way through. So on the 25th of Kislev, we finally regained control over the Holy Temple, and were able to take control over our own land. We were in our own land, the land of Israel. We had the Holy Temple. And the Syrian Greeks, why do we call them Greeks? Because they follow the Greek religion and Greek philosophy. So maybe I should take a minute or two, even though I'm making it a shorter class tonight. We have three blessings to recite on Sunday night. Blessed art thou, O Lord of God, King of the universe, who commanded us to listen to the rabbis who instituted that we should light the candle of Hanukkah. Then we see a second blessing, which we say in Purim too. Blessed art thou, O Lord our God, King of the universe, who did for us miracles at this time, in those days, B'yomim Ha'hem, Bisman Hazeh. And we recite the Shechianu, that we're blessing God that we live to reach this point as well. So let me just share with you, it's rather uncomfortable, a couple of things I have to say, but we have to celebrate Sunday night. We have to truly celebrate our religious freedom and the fact that we have to win over our own youth and win over the people in this country who are blaming us for the atrocities that Hamas commits and is still committing, etc. So let me tell you a little bit about these horrible Syrian Greeks, okay? I'll let you be the judge. The Syrian Greeks, like these Arabs and Muslims, look down upon us as barbarians, like wild, primitive people, like animals. What caused them to do that? The learned people, we have a holy Torah. We have a great deal of wisdom, and many of our people were great uh, accomplishers in many fields. Maimonides was a famous doctor, as a matter of fact, just to give an example of that. Why did they look down upon us in such a low manner? You'll be amazed at what I'm going to tell you, and then I'll ask you, what do you think about Hamas? What was one of their beliefs? If a child was born with a handicap, be it a physical handicap, a mental handicap. So I'm a little tired tonight too, a little hard to talk straight, but we do our best. So if a child was born with any kind of deformity or any kind of handicap, so their principle was, what should be done? The child should not be allowed to live. They throw it down a mountain. What was their reason for this? I know you're finding this horrifying, absolutely horrifying. What was their reason? You're sparing the child of the misery of being either a handicapped child or a mentally impaired child, and you're doing a wonderful kindness. You're doing a wonderful kindness. So this is what you're dealing with. What do we deal with the Nazis? The same thing. That the Jewish people, and you had very brilliant Jewish people, what did they do? They went to the University of Frankfurt, which was also left, just like we have left universities today too. And they were saying that all the Jewish brilliant professors should be fired, and all of the Jewish students should be expelled. And they're telling this to the faculty of this University of Frankfurt. This is the Nazis. Well, wouldn't you expect to hear at least one word of objection, of one word of asking for the reason for this and the explanation for this? Not one word was said. They just want to know, can we still continue to research theology, research religions? That was their question. To throw out the Jewish people, would talk about super brilliant minds, as we well know. The Jewish people have been in the forefront of education and teaching in the arts and the sciences, as you well know. Not one word of defense for the Jewish people, not one word of objection. So, what's going on here in both cases, the Syrian Greeks and the Nazis? What about Hamas today? Taking babies and putting them in the microwave, attacking women, then shooting them in the head, then parading their body to show their naked body, which they have abused incredibly. On video, we're cheered on by their horrible, horrible comments. So we're still living in the Hanukkah story. That's what I'm trying to bring out to you. And what's the background behind the whole thing? When you take God out of the picture and you use your so-called brilliant mind and your brilliant creativity, you can be warped and come up with logical explanations for doing the most filthy, horrible things. So look at the hypocrisy, I just want to tell you. So the Germans were taught to look upon us as a filthy, lowly people who are infecting and degrading their pure Aryan race. By the way, Iran, did you know that that's related to the word Aryan from the horrible Nazis? Did you know that?
No.
Yeah. The same horrors. So when God is taken out of the picture, then people can give very logical explanations to do very horrible, immoral, rotten, terribly evil, wicked things. You take a baby and throw him over a mountain, you're doing a kindness because that baby won't have to suffer and their parents won't have to suffer trying to help them and take care of them. So this is what happens when God is taken out of the picture and people pretend to play God. They can come up with the most horrible things. One of the things that I found very, very amazing was if these horrible enemies look down upon us as we're being so lowly and have to be eradicated and completely erased from the world, then how come they can take our women and attack them and use them for their pleasure? I thought we're so dirty. I thought that we are so disgusting. Yet they have the closest relationship, forcing themselves upon the women. You see the stupidity and the incredible hypocrisy of all this. The Nazis did this with the Jewish girls, and a number of them took their own lives. Not to be defiled in this horrible way, they took their own lives to stop this horrible, horrible practice. And the Syrian Greeks did the same thing too, as we'll see in a moment. Let's take one of the points about Hanukkah is that the Jewish woman has a very, very major role in the victory over the terrible enemies in the Hanukkah story. There was a decree that was made. Here we go again with the same idea. This is in the Hanukkah story. That any girl who was going to be engaged and going to get married had to be with the governor first, had to have a night with the governor first. And there was one, very wonderful, there was the daughter of the high priest, Yochanan Cohen Gadol. She was super beautiful, and the king sought to be able to be with her. And she said, I'll fulfill your request. She tricked him. Listen at what she did. So she fed him cheese dishes so he'd get real thirsty. Then she gave him wine, got him drunk, and when he was sleeping, she cut off his head. That wasn't enough. That takes some great courage, believe me, for any woman to do anything of that nature. Really. First of all, she's risking her life by doing so. Cuts off the head. And then she takes the head and she brings it and shows to the various subjects of this terrible king, this terrible ruler. They fled. They recognized the head of their leader and they took off, but good. So because the Jewish woman had this great, and this is amongst many times. Jewish women in Egypt, as you know, in the merit of the Jewish women in Egypt, we were redeemed. So here also, when the Hanukkah lights are burning, we um, give the woman a vacation that she doesn't have to do any work when the Hanukkah lights are burning. That means we have to pick ourselves up, men move ourselves and wash the dishes or whatever, and do whatever is necessary to take their place. Well, the candles are burning, but the men can work. The women have to be given this vacation because they are so important in the Hanukkah story, as we can see. So we, I want to point this out, we must be very, very,
Schaefer?
yeah, oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Alright, tell me what the name of this wonderful tzaddikus with
Yehudis, her name was
the
called
Hanukkah story?
Yehudis, yeah. I believe her name was
Yehudis.
Yehudis,
Oh,
yeah,
very good.
yeah.
Yeah, Yashikaya.
Yeah, Bertia.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think I heard that. Yeah. At any rate, thank you very much.
Whose head did she cut off?
What is it?
Whose head did she cut off?
This was there were a number of kings. This was one of the kings that was in power at that time.
Oh, it's a king.
It's yes, it is an extended, just like this war with Hamas is so extended, and it just disturbs me enormously. Some of the compromises that are looking to be made. It's absolutely, absolutely wrong. And with all due respect to President Trump, uh, when you say peace at any cost, we don't do that. We don't do that. If peace is going to be at the cost of having a repetition of the same atrocities again, because you're dealing with these people have not shown any regret. They're planning the same thing again. They're re-arming themselves. And just to pretend that there's a fake ceasefire is not even a joke. It's not even a joke. And Israel is they're trying to because President Trump has given them great help, and that is true. Unfortunately, we have to stick to our Torah guns. We must stick to our Torah guns and see to it that this is not going to be repeated again. And Hamas, they say this country offered to help, that country offered to help. All of them copped out. They all copped out.
Mhm.
The only one who can disarm Hamas, and it has to be done, and they have to be removed from their offices of control. Did you know? I think, if I'm not mistaken, half of Gaza is still under their control. Half of Gaza. I thought that we had more control than that. I thought we had taken over more than half of Gaza. And now they're telling me that half of Gaza is still under their control. So we are in the middle of a Hanukkah story ourselves. We need to be redeemed. Our people need to be redeemed, and we need the Almighty to step in as He did centuries ago and to take over. Okay, just going to take a few more minutes and let us all go. This is a shorter class, as I say. The Hanukkah candle is lit in a place where it will get the most attention. If we're living in a time and in a place, and this is a big if now, isn't it, where it's safe to put the Hanukkah candles outside. It's originally, the original observance was that outside the house, they'd have in fact, they still have, some people have a special case to put the candelabra in to protect it from wind and weather. And it would be placed outside. The mezuzah, as you enter your home, is on the right side. You'd be entering a home, a Jewish home would have the mezuzah on the right side. And the menorah would be placed on the left side. So when you would enter the house or leave the house, you'd be surrounded with beautiful mitzvahs, surrounded with wonderful mitzvahs.
2 cents.
Yeah.
In Fargo, the rabbi had the menorah outside all year long.
Electric menorah. Yeah.
Tell them.
Yep. In fact, I was going to discuss that although we need to use oil or wax candles, that there are a number of Chabad rabbis who the menorah is a symbol of the victory of Judaism and he has this menorah, electric menorah, lit all year. As a matter of fact, when we go to visit him, this is the Shaliach, the head Chabad rabbi in North Dakota, Rabbi Yonah
Fargo.
Grossman. Rabbi Yonah
Fargo.
Grossman, yeah,
Fargo.
in Fargo. He's located in Fargo, but he is the chief rabbi of Chabad for North Dakota. That's his position, actually. He's not just rabbi of Fargo, but of the whole North Dakota. And he has, when we go to visit him, we always look for that lit up menorah to be able to find his house. Etc. Too. So, what we want to do, starting Sunday night, and we can prepare for it before too, is to place a menorah. If one were able to do so, there are neighborhoods in Israel, I think they're still able to do that. You can understand that under the terrible war conditions that we're under, there's probably not too many places that can do that, to place the menorah outside. But at any rate, there are preferable places to put it, and one of those places would be in the house. It's possible to place it on a chair or table opposite one of the mezuzahs in the house. If that is safe, if again that is safe, you're not going to do that with children running around, of course not. But if you have some sort of a table, like people have to, which we, I guess they call it a TV table, I forgot the name for it, these little portable tables, and you could put it in the doorway for one in the hallway, perhaps opposite the mezuzah. That would be wonderful. If that cannot be done, if one has a window that faces the street and it's safe, again, it has to be safe to do so, to have the menorah shine outside. The idea of Hanukkah is to bring light into the darkness of night, not just the darkness of night, literally, the darkness of this world which has so many evils going on, such confusion, and such complete chaos, and to bring the light of Hanukkah into the world is a tremendous mitzvah. We don't do it with a torch. We don't do it with giant torches. We use candles or oil lamps very similar to what was in the Holy Temple. There wasn't a torch. You had a 7 candelabra menorah in the Holy Temple. And there it was lit actually every evening of the year. And the Chashmonoim, the heroes of the Hanukkah story, felt we have to light the candelabra, and we want to light it with holy, pure olive oil, not with Syrian Greek religion and Syrian Greek customs and philosophy in it. These horrible ideas of Nazis and Syrian Greeks, all of our terrible enemies, etc., that the light has to be a pure light. And therefore, preferably, if one can, you can't get one at a Hebrew bookstore. You can get a candelabra that uses olive oil, and they're not. You can get an inexpensive one. If one has a few more dollars, you get a nice silver one. That would honor the mitzvah very beautifully too. What we want to do is dispel the darkness. And there's so much darkness around us, and let's do so with great joy. Wish everyone a wonderful Shabbos. Rabbi Zinyiska, are you going to?
No.
No. Okay. So we wish you all a wonderful Shabbos, and thank you very much for joining us. And we hope Sunday to have the Hasidus class, God willing. We hope to speak more about Hanukkah then too. All right, B. Well, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
It's our pleasure. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time.
Happy Shabbos.
Yeah, you too. You too. Be well.
Okay.
All the best.
You too. Cole too. Cole too. All goodness. Everyone here.
You want to know how tired I am? I took the top off a container in the kitchen and I can't find it.
What was it?
My food. Anyway.
What food was it? Should I take a quick look? Maybe?
No, take a chill pill, husband.
I
Okay.
put away my.
Thanks for coming in. We appreciate all of your presence in YouTube here. And I'm sorry I'm not going to teach tonight, but just remember one thing. that Hashem created us for fellowship with Him, not to know that He's God, yes, and He's the only God, yes, but to talk to Him. You should be walking through your day, um, thanking Him for everything, asking Him for whatever you need. Like, for example, every time I get in the car, I pray for traveling mercies of help, safety, and protection from everything around me on the road. And I find that if you commit some prayer to everything you're going to do, is talking to the Abishter. I call it chewing his ear off, yeah? If you are in constant communication with the Almighty, you will find a stronger and better relationship with Him that will cause a better quality of life to you. And so, work on it, Anyway, have a wonderful Shabbos. And with the help of the Almighty, we'll be back on Sunday. New York time or East Coast time is noon to 2. So, hope to see you there. God bless you all. Thank you for coming. Shalom, shalom.